Super Bowl rematch. Did not feel like the Super Bowl at all. But that's what happens when, the Chiefs are more of a defensive team than they're an offensive team, which is weird to say.
We have on the board over there, which you guys cannot see.
Speaking of...
I have to put a sad face on that. Yeah. That's how sad the news is for us.
Speaking of... You actually did? I didn't even notice that.
Oh, yeah, no, I did. I was sad. Dude, he's my favorite player.
Yeah, honestly, it's fair.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the BTR podcast.
Before we get started, please like, comment, and subscribe.
And as always, make sure you guys follow all our socials, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And make sure, or audio listeners, make sure you guys just rate it 5 stars. Help us get those numbers up, all right? Before we continue, just a very quick reminder that we have 2 guest videos out this past weekend. So Peter Galindo and Blake Murphy. Peter Galindo, we talked about Canada soccer and soccer in general. Blake Murphy, our first, finally, we have a guest we talked baseball and basketball with, so check that one out. NFL tier list out now. Thanks for the support on that video.
And coming up this weekend, MLB tier list.
Or season finale, I guess you could say, or the season ending tier list.
Season ending tier list,
Without a further ado, let's get right into it. And as always, NFL and Monday Night Football. Biggest game of the week. Didn't live up to it, in my opinion.
Super Bowl rematch. Did not feel like the Super Bowl at all. But that's what happens when, the Chiefs are more of a defensive team than they're an offensive team, which is weird to say.
So first question off the bat. How much is it on Mahomes and how much is it on the drop passes?
Drop passes. That's what cost all 3 of their losses.
Yeah.
Broncos is more Mahomes, obviously. But a drop pass by Kadarius Toney led to a pick 6 in the Lions game. And a drop pass by Marquez Valdez-Scantling in the end zone are kind of 2 key drops that could define your season from going 8-1 to like 7-3 or 9-1 to 7-3.
Even 9-0 if Mahomes. The Broncos game shouldn't have been.
The Broncos game shouldn't have happened either.
So, I mean, you could say that for any team, though. Every team could, on a given night, be given a loss.
The fact that Mahomes said, I should have underthrown it a little bit.
He's a team player. There's nothing more to it. It's a team player. I know he's frustrated visibly. You can tell. Because Travis Kelce was dropping passes.
Everyone was.
Right?
No one to throw to.
No one, yeah. So, this is what I've been saying all year, that they should have went after a wide receiver. Heck, if I was Julio Jones, maybe show some life that you had something. They could have just gotten Julio Jones.
It's not even him. The thing with last year and this year is Juju wasn't even that good. Because now you're looking at him in the Patriots, he's completely garbage. But now you're looking at him from last year, obviously Juju was a viable option still, and it was enough for Mahomes to catch the ball.
They started clicking after Kadarius Toney trade last year. And they partnered Juju and Kadarius Toney.
So that's what I'm trying to say is
No, so I was saying they partnered them. Now Juju's gone and Kadarius is on his own and Sky Moore did not elevate as a rookie. So the problem is they didn't go out and do that this year.
I'm talking about last year because Juju was good with Mahomes.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is because they started clicking once they did the Kadarius Toney trade.
I'm not. But my point is Juju is not that guy without Mahomes.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. We know that. He's on the Patriots. No one's gonna be the same with the Patriots.
They don't need to get a complete number 1. If they get someone that was a Juju level, like how Juju was in Pittsburgh, it was still good enough. And I don't think it's too difficult to find those pieces.
That's what I'm saying. They could have. Kadarius Toney is fine, not even as a 1. Just even we already know Travis Kelce's a 1 in the receiver room. Yes, there were 1A and 1B in the receiver room, but go get another guy, right? I don't know if Julio is obviously outdated at this point.
Julio.
But there were a team that could have, I don't know how much DeAndre Hopkins went after the money, but clearly he did go after the money. But that was a guy I said they could have gone after. I don't know who was, available receiver-wise for them. Even if it was minor. Heck, I know you're not going to like the name, but listen, Chase Claypool in a Chiefs uniform probably would have been better with those vets around him.
It would have been better, yeah.
Right? I'm not saying Chase Claypool now, but Chase Claypool with the Chiefs would have been a different story. Because like you said, Kadarius Toney was
there's no one there.
Issue there, right? And Claypool could have elevated with Mahomes throwing him the ball.
There's no one there.
But yeah, on the flip side,
Eagles
started off bad, so it was I don't even think the Chiefs got a point in the second half.
It was a 17-7 game.
Yeah, so then
that's all I remember.
It ended 21-17.
Yeah.
So did you see first of all Jalen Carter tried to intercept a spike?
No, I didn't see it.
So Mahomes went to spike the ball late in the second quarter. That's when they got the field goal, I think. And he dove under and it just bounced off his hand, I think.
Oh, that would have sick. That would have been play of the year.
Probably.
That would have been play of the year.
But yeah, Eagles obviously got their revenge, but Jason Kelce said it perfectly on their New Heights podcast with Travis Kelce that nothing feels like a Super Bowl because it's not going to give us our Super Bowl ring or anything. And obviously, they're at the Chiefs Stadium. Well, usually, I guess, if they get lucky, like the Rams and the Bucks did. But There was that situation, and there wasn't like a little hype around it, like how Super Bowl week would be. So he's right in that sense, but it's still good to like come out and get a little bit of revenge. Sirianni was pumped up after the game.
He was pumped up, and you beat a top team in the NFL, right? Like, it's always good to win those games, those big games where everyone's watching on prime time, right? Jalen Hurts.
I think he's now considered. I think it's a 2-horse race now, right?
He is the front runner right now.
It's between him and Lamar.
Stroud is still in the conversation just because he didn't lose.
But I feel like realistically, it's a 2-horse race between those two guys.
Those two are the top two. And Stroud is still in there because technically they didn't lose. So
true,
they didn't lose because of him.
Yeah. So that was Monday Night Football. We don't want to get into it too much because we're gonna come Thursday night or Thursday day night, whatever. Because first of all, happy American Thanksgiving once again. Because this will be coming out Thursday. I think even after the morning game has come out. But before we get into Thursday Night Football, let's do our superlatives of Week 11. By the way, check out our power rankings. It's already out. I think we had a similar list this time. It's just a little different order.
Disappointment. I'm gonna start off here. The Washington Commanders. This was a chance to like get yourself back in the playoff race on a weak NFC wildcard race where everyone's like now 4-6, who are outside looking in. A terrible Giants team, and you couldn't get the job done. Their turnovers after turnovers, interceptions. I don't know what the hell happened to them, but like the Giants finally, when the Giants wanted to play football, they showed up both times against the Commanders this year.
For me, I agree with everything you said. Pissed me off because I wanted to pick the Giants, but they didn't give me a reason to.
I benched Barkley, so it pissed me off more.
For me, Seattle Seahawks. Right, you lose to the same team at home. Again, we were trying our best to watch certain games. Now, for you, it sucks. Now, Kenneth Walker's out most likely. He's doubtful for Thursday's game. Geno Smith's questionable, so you already got issues there. It's not even like Stafford went off. Cooper Kupp got injured, if I'm not mistaken.
He did.
As well. So you lose 2 games that did not have Cooper Kupp really featured in it. Well, did not feature, and then this one not really featured. There's a game that you want if you wanted to be considered the division champ and make this Thursday night game with the Niners meaningful. This was a game you needed to win. Because of that, this game became now lackluster a little bit because the Niners look like they're back. Brock Purdy looks like he ain't concussed anymore. So that bye week clearly helped that team. So it was disappointing in that end because, you're probably going to be a playoff team like we talked about on Monday's spot of our predictions of the early, I guess, mid-season-ish playoff prediction of who's making it. But you ain't going to do shit in the playoffs anyways. That's the problem. Like,
we already know.
Your defense is legit, but it didn't perform.
We already know that like the wildcard teams, other than maybe Dallas, are not going to do anything, and whoever wins the NFC South are not going to do anything in the playoffs.
Exactly. So that's my disappointment.
But for me, let's go with the surprise. Mine coincides with my disappointment. The Giants. I don't know what the hell Tommy DeVito ate that week, but he balled out. Saquon Barkley, they fed him the ball, rushing and receiving. I think Tommy DeVito has the same or more multi-touchdown games as Kenny Pickett, and they balled out. Give credit where credit's due, and we'll see what happens from here on out. I don't think anything's gonna happen for a playoff push, but you might not be the number 1 overall pick.
Honorable mention, disappointment was kind of Chicago, just because
they blown
the lead, but this disappointment for me, surprise for me, Denver Broncos. They're coming around now officially. Now you got to put them in the playoff picture. I know you still have them written off, but I won't be surprised if they win the next 1 or 2 games depending on what their schedule.
Now they're higher up because the Raiders lost and they're ahead of them. The Chargers lost as well. Which could have been a disappointment there as well.
Like they play the Browns and the Texans next. I won't be surprised if they win those games general.
There's a chance.
It's a football. Anything could happen. We know that, but now they're in the mix, right? There's no more. Let's get rid of Russell Wilson. Maybe now they could be like, okay, the coach QB combo may have started clicking a little bit because Russell Wilson ain't last year's Russell Wilson, but he ain't Seattle Russell Wilson.
He's second in the league in passing touchdowns.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that, but numbers don't lie.
He's doing something.
So
good.
He's doing something, right?
Yeah.
They're no longer that 70-point allowed team anymore either. So
they became a laughingstock to a potential playoff push. So all in like 6 weeks.
Yeah. So that's our week 11 superlatives.
That closes off week 11.
Before we go into week 12, let's just get into some news that reflect. Let's go start off with the minor news quickly. Joe Flacco, practice squad, Cleveland Browns. All right. So that's gonna be crazy. DTR had a great game. right? Got his first game. I wouldn't say great, but like a good game, enough to get the win. And Flacco, let's see if he comes in somehow.
You know what the storyline is going to be? When the Browns play the Ravens in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And Flacco is a starting quarterback.
Yeah, because that'll be fun to see if the Browns actually pull it off and get into the playoffs.
It will be a Flacco versus successor.
And this is where like I don't know who's available, but like is Cincy gonna make a move? I think they're gonna test to see what happens with Browning this week before they make a decision.
Yeah, they give him a chance.
Yeah, I mean DTR is gonna get a chance too, but maybe someone signed to a practice.
Yeah, it's not like Flacco's gonna
But what
start.
sucks is that Nathan Rourke couldn't get a chance somewhere because
Trade for Nathan Rourke.
no, but like they're not gonna do
That's
that,
not
right?
happening,
There's
yeah.
no point.
But other news,
sticking with that division.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Finally,
you could finally celebrate, and I am very happy for you. Kenny Pickett. Now it's on you.
Well, we'll see
what happens. But like Matt Canada is gone.
He's officially fired.
He was a disappointment in the Steelers organization and
he's the
to the country of
first
Canada.
coordinator. Okay, well, yeah, the name. He's not Canadian to be exact.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he ain't
He's
Canadian.
not Canadian. He's not.
Now you let me listen. Oh, he's the first coordinator, I believe, in Steelers history to be fired midweek. I think maybe even coach, but because obviously Tomlin's been there for so long, I don't know what the hell happened before Tomlin. But yeah, he's the first coordinator, and usually that shows that they're like kind of like the Colts in a way. They always last year's Colts, where they kind of stick through it and see what happens. Well, obviously, clearly, it wasn't like that. And I think there was a clip of where I think they lost this game, right?
They lost to the Browns. Yeah.
So the week before, I think when they won, or one of the games they won, he was celebrating, and Chris Boswell, their kicker, was like, "Yeah, it ain't because of you." Like he said
No
that.
way, yeah.
He did say that. I saw that clip on Twitter. And yeah, so Matt Canada officially gone. Hey, so then obviously we have a relative that's a Saints fan. He wants the same thing for the Saints because their offense ain't clicking neither.
Bills got rid of their.
I'm gonna come back to this.
Bills got rid of theirs.
Oh yeah, true. I'm gonna come back to this. Chargers, go fire Brandon Staley before it's too late, because you still have a chance to make a run at a wild card. Because obviously this year, I'm not saying Justin Herbert's been outstanding like he's been before, but he's carried your franchise enough that you're letting your defense let you down in games. When you look at the Chargers' losses, they've been you could easily bet like all those losses could have been wins.
All right, I'm gonna stop you right there. It is too late, because if they want to fire him before this game,
Oh yeah, I know
they would have done it.
That's okay. Yeah, it is technically.
It's too late.
It's too late.
They lose this weekend. They're done.
If they lose this weekend, he's getting fired. But it might. Yeah, like you said, it's too late.
They had to do it this week. 6 losses already. You're gonna have to go and win every single game.
But this NFL season's been on drugs, though. You gotta remember that it's been on drugs.
It's been on drugs.
So
but not enough for the Chargers gonna
let's see.
Win every
like
single game.
Like I said,
remaining.
just promote Kellen Moore, and let your defensive coordinator run the defensive play call duties, and let's see how that runs out for the rest of the year. But enough about the Chargers this time. Last news, which we'll get into Thursday night football in general. Zach Wilson is officially a third stringer. He got benched, and now he's not even the backup. He's a third stringer to Tim Boyle, and I don't even know who their second guy is. I think it's just Trevor Siemian. I don't know. I know they signed him, but I'm not sure if it's him. But yeah,
it's probably him.
Tim Boyle is your new Jets starter, which is kind of weird to say because you still need. I don't think he'll be enough for you guys to get over the top.
They're done.
Unless he does some Mike White.
They were done week 1, 10 seconds into the football.
True. They got our hopes up a little bit.
Yeah, with a little 2-game win streak.
That Chiefs game,
2-3 game win
especially.
streak.
They're the only team that beat the freaking
Eagles. Game.
No, but I was saying Zach Wilson performed against the Chiefs.
Oh, he did perform. But the biggest news that's we're gonna regard us.
We have on the board over there, which you guys cannot see.
Speaking of,
I have to put a sad face on that.
Yeah.
That's how sad the news is for us.
Speaking of, you actually did. I didn't even notice that.
Oh yeah, no, I did. I was sad, dude. He's my favorite player.
Yeah, honestly, it's fair. But like, speaking of, how you mentioned Colts like to ride it out.
Yeah,
they did not in this situation where Shaquille Leonard
is. I don't
cut.
know.
Shaquille Leonard is cut.
He's ruthless. I guess that's what I'm gonna say. But yeah.
Yes, to be fair, he has been performing well. We'll give him. We understand that completely. Contract is massive, but I would have thought like you could have traded at least. I would say a 6th or a 7th out of it.
He getting no. The reason why is that contract is way too massive.
The contract would happen.
He's like the second highest paid after Roquan Smith now, right? So
that is true. Yeah.
Was the first.
He was gonna get cut.
He was gonna get cut. If that was the
season,
case, a team wanted waivers would have picked him up, and no one did.
that is true too. Yeah.
So if no one picked him up from waivers,
Bro, this is actually painful.
Yeah. Shaquille Leonard, Shaquille Leonard.
Could have waited till the end of the year.
Probably one of the, at least in my lifetime of watching the Colts, the best linebacker probably. That's what people
I think
are
he already
saying.
has the third most tackles in Colts history.
Yeah, what you call it? Drafted in 2018. I think he was like an All-Pro twice. He was Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year. A guy that was supposed to be projected the worst pick in the NFL.
That was what to say.
And then he was obviously Pro Bowler almost every year. When he changed his name to Shaq Leonard, that's when obviously the injuries were there.
Changes defensive scheme.
The before even the defensive scheme, like he was playing injured and he was balling. Now obviously, when he took the injury, he said he couldn't feel his leg. Now those people that might be saying, "Oh, well, why the surgery screwed him over?" Dude, there's more to life than sports. Like I'm sure there's a reason why Andre Ward in boxing retired early, because he didn't want to deal with more concussions and all that and live with his family. Andrew Luck, speaking of the Colts, Luke Kuechly,
who was at time
could have been like one of the best linebackers of all time.
At that time, Luke Kuechly was the best linebacker in the game.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, it sucks for Shaq. Maybe he goes to a different team, and maybe the reason why the Colts let him go early is maybe he gets an opportunity to play somewhere else. Speaking of what type of person he is, he does a turkey giveaway during Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving, and he did that the day he got cut, and did
with the teammates.
and did media, yeah, and obviously with Kenny Moore, Grover Stewart, and I forget one more. But he obviously did media after, which, why would he? He didn't need to. He did it at the location where he was giving
the turkey drive-through.
And I wish this wasn't the case. I believe that he would have been back this year, but it was a scheme. He wasn't playing third downs. Part of me was still hoping. I'm not still sold on Gus's defense. That's just me, and I know you're not fully either at times. Now I don't know how much of that is personnel, especially in the secondary, but I was hoping Flus. I'm not hoping for someone to get fired, but if Flus were to get fired this year, I was hoping he would come back and get this going.
But at the end of the day, like, it just fell apart once. Obviously, the scheme, the injuries, the scheme, because people thought he was gonna be a perfect fit in Gus Bradley's system. Like, everyone thought like Darius Shaquille Leonard would be perfect fit in that Seattle defense. When Gus Bradley was running it. So they're like, okay, there's no issues there. And also didn't help when Zaire Franklin is becoming one of the better linebackers in the league, 7th round pick as well. So we're going to see probably a late round linebacker projection here for a draft pick,
or sign someone maybe. But
I guess,
I saw a post where
it was an easy replacement, because the guy, when Zaire Franklin was out against the Carolina Panthers, Alubi,
yeah, he
balled out that game, right? More than Shaq, and he played more than Shaq. So I wasn't surprised it happened, but I was surprised of how it happened, like mid-season and everything. Yeah. I thought he was like, run it out a little bit, but I guess 90 million cap space is more valuable.
Yeah, I don't know how much I think they only have like 8 million dead cap and stuff. So yeah, I mean, you have 90, that makes it 90 mil next year. Obviously, money for Pitt.
But do something.
Money for
do
Pitt.
something with it.
Money for Pitt.
Yeah, that's one.
That's gonna be one. Money for
Grover. Kenny Moore probably. So
Kenny Moore. So that 90 mil probably end up going there most likely, and whatever else you could add. People were hoping that they released Shaquille Leonard, but what if signed Darius Leonard? Imagine if that was actually what the Colts did. I think Shaq broke the news first. I don't think it was the Colts.
Yeah, Shaq did.
He posted it first.
He posted a goodbye message, a thank you message, and then everyone's like, what the hell is going on?
So before we continue, I mean, obviously, Shaq, I love you, man. Hopefully you can come back as a Colt once you prove yourself.
We re-sign him right now.
Fitz. And off the bat, NFL Live had a great one in Buffalo.
Buffalo's a fit, yeah. Matt Milano's injured.
Again, we don't know what we're not football experts, so we don't know what defensive schemes
exactly
DCs and head coaches that are defensive guys run.
But like, if you're just looking at in general, any contender is gonna want him. Like, he's
there's
something still in there. Like Phillies, obviously, Eagles are gonna be on there. Cowboys are gonna be on there. I think Van Der Esch is injured.
He's injured too.
Yeah, so
Spears brought that up, right?
Spears. So then that'll be a good spot for him there.
So the report
Matt
was
Milano being injured. Obviously, Bills are a good fit there.
The report off the bat was Phillies and Cowboys and
Eagles, not Phillies. Philly Eagles.
Oh yeah, Phillies
are actually baseball
Eagles and Cowboys. But for me, it's like, okay, as a fan, first of all, I think he also got released because of the comments he had about not getting playtime, so that factored in it as well.
Yeah.
But as long as he's not in division, so especially with Yeah, especially in division.
No, don't be in division.
And the Cowboys, because I don't want to hear some Cowboys, because I don't want to root for the Cowboys like that. I'm not a big Steeler guy, but I don't mind it. Like the rest of the teams, I won't mind. Obviously, to make my pick right, hopefully Buffalo could help out there. Him and Vaughn. But again, he's obviously past his, I guess, I don't know if
Prime already.
Prime now. But yeah, that's Shaq Leonard news.
Best of luck to Shaq or Darius Leonard.
Yeah.
Rooting for you. And yeah, let's move on to the Thursday night.
I should take that sad piece off now because I'm going to be staring at it.
Yeah. Let's move on to Thursday night football picks. Starting off with Lions, Packers. And
I mean, these are easy picks now.
it's a Lions. They're very relatively easy picks because when you have Lions, Packers, you have Commanders, Cowboys, which is Cowboys, and you have Niners and a injured Seahawks.
So
So
Lions win, Cowboys win, and Niners win. Simple.
it should be that.
Now,
Niners.
Commanders usually beat the Cowboys on like Thursday,
Not this
Thanksgiving
Cowboys.
games.
Not the Cowboys where Micah Parsons might sack Sam Howell another 10 times.
Yeah.
And making even more history of the pace he's at getting sacked. It's already over 50.
Yeah. This is a game where Ron Rivera could get fired because it's a Thursday night game as well. So you just get fired literally on the weekend because it's like a long week, right?
Thursday night triple header. Not the best games, but like at the end of the day, the Lions.
They need to fix this up, man. This is where the NBA.
Cowboys
This is where the NBA does a great job in their Christmas games, where they usually put like the enticing matches.
Yeah.
All right, these guys.
The Cowboys are
For the longest time, the Lions were shit, and now they're good, and the Packers are shit.
Yeah. So like the Lions are going to be in there, the Cowboys are going to be in there, the Packers are always in there. So those are like the three teams that are guaranteed usually in there. But moving on to our week 12.
We have a Black Friday game as well.
Oh, Black Friday game, Miami, Tim Boyle. I'm not giving you any chance. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But when
that game's at 12, so what the hell?
That's tripping me out as well. But let's go for players to watch for week 12. I'm going to start off with Jake Browning. First ever start, I believe. And let's see if this new look Bengals could get something done and make a playoff push here. And another one matchup I want to bring up here is a battle of rookie quarterbacks. I'll let you go on for that because I already said one.
Bryce Young versus Will Levis. Will Levis said that, like, I don't know why the reports of, I was getting picked first were out. They told me that it wasn't going to be him. And early, I guess Will Levis going to struggle the last two games, I guess, based on how he started. But let's see who's actually the right case. I think, so that's mine to watch, essentially.
And then next up is your who are you putting on upset alert for this week?
Who am I putting on upset alert? It is that game. I have the Panthers beating the Titans.
Okay. And for me, I'm going with the Rams, just because Kyler Murray's has actually been playing pretty well. And the Cardinals have been playing pretty well. They beat the Falcons, and they were close against the Houston Texans.
This Cardinals team, they're comparing it to Dan Campbell's first year. That's what they kind of remind Jonathan Gannon of. You have the quarterback, so let's see, right? And so far, Kyler's been decent.
Kyler's been decent. So you got, like, when you're looking at it, what they got to add, you could obviously wide receiver will be one.
Marvin Harrison Jr. is waiting for them right now.
Obviously, a couple of defensive pieces. You could always use that. Edge rusher.
O-lineman.
Everything.
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 Football.
Everything other than Kyler and Buda Baker, basically.
Yeah. They don't even need a running back at this moment in terms of draft-wise, so...
Yeah.
So that's my upset.
And my upset, I said... No, that was my upset. You already said yours,
yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that concludes...
No.
We have one more thing?
A couple things. Game or collective game of the week and a regular game of the week.
Oh yeah, I totally missed that. That was the week before.
So collective game of the week is pretty obvious. It's the Bills versus Eagles. Again, two preseason Super Bowl contenders. Obviously, right now one team's trajectory is that, and the other team's isn't. The Bills, they lost on the weekend, right?
No.
Oh no, they won. So, but either way, let's see. Eagles 9-1. Bills are 6-5. This game was also Bills. Playoff hopes on the line. Are they gonna do what the Eagles did and play to their competition levels? That's the key thing here.
That is the key thing. We'll see. The
Eagles are home though.
Bills needed that win against the Jets to get a little bit of confidence and momentum heading into this game.
Yeah.
Eagles are looking like they're on the league of their own right now. But at the end of the day, you like what you see from the Eagles, and you don't like the inconsistencies you see from the Bills and Josh Allen himself, because this man's leading the league in interceptions and passing touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, he's a gunslinger, right? What do you think is gonna happen?
Exactly.
He barely runs the ball, well, giving off to the running back. I mean,
And what would your defense be?
first game with the new OC as well.
That was a Jets game.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
I mixed it up.
And then
This is a true test of the new OC.
Yeah, and then I was gonna say your defense is too injured to bail you out.
Oh, actually, wait, never mind. The Jets' defense is decent too, but I guess they didn't have the pressure for the offensive side of things. But this time they will, right? So yeah, I agree with that. I think I went with the Eagles ultimately. I could see an upset here with the Bills winning.
Yeah, I'm going with the Eagles too.
But I went with the Eagles with this one.
So
my game
to watch, yeah.
Baltimore Chargers.
Obviously,
Baltimore is a team that this is also Sunday Night Football. Chargers once again, their backs are against the wall now at this point. If they want to contend for a playoff spot, not contend as a contenders. Baltimore is a team that loses these type of games though. Like we saw it with Cleveland, we saw it with Pittsburgh. The games they lost were like kind of like, how did they lose, right? And you don't want to keep Herbert in the game a lot, especially. Now, what will save the Ravens are this is the Chargers, and Staley's defense ain't doing shit. So that's fair on their end. But if you let Herbert in the game, who knows what will happen?
That's fair to say. My game, I'm gonna pick two, the South divisional matchups. Jaguars and Texans could have a divisional lead on the line here. Jaguars looking bounce back win against the Titans after getting throttled by the Niners, and the CJ Stroud looked a little bit off against the Cardinals.
He looked like a rookie.
He looked like a rookie, but at the end of the day, they still found.
Because he is a rookie, but yeah.
They still found. Yeah, that's true. He's a rookie. They still found a way to win with their elite defense. And then the other side, NFC South, Saints Falcons. Both teams are bad, but at the end of the day, they both might win the division, and we'll see what happens there. And then Colts are back this week playing the Bucks. Hopefully, we win. And it's kind of a big one. It's definitely a winnable game.
We have to win for playoff hopes to be there. I feel weird though because I kind of want Marvin Harrison Jr. and it's kind of out of the picture now.
It's way too
now it's too late.
It's done
after the AR
injury. It was
injury.
done 2 weeks ago.
But one of the easiest schedules to remain, and I won't be surprised, like I said, if they make it. So yeah, it's a winnable game. That's what we gotta say.
It's very winnable. But let's move on to the
college football. And we got changes, and we have questions for you about this. Now we're not college football experts. And we don't know how the voting and all that works, but we know there's some things tied to it. Let me pull the exact thing up so I don't mess it up here. But off the bat, we got some changes in the actual college football playoff rankings. I think this is the second last week. This is a rivalry week, right? Like every school is essentially playing their biggest rival or in-state rival. You know, Ohio State is playing Michigan. Georgia is playing Georgia Tech. Like some of them are obviously not, but like Florida State's playing Florida. Speaking of Florida State, though, they're officially out of the top 4. And number 1 is still Georgia, number 2 is Ohio State, number 3 is Michigan, and number 4, finally getting the respect, is UW, University of Washington. Pac-12 has been killing it, so I don't know why they didn't have a feature in there because there's so many Pac-12 teams that are like ranked. Oregon, you had Oregon State, you had USC for a little bit, you had Colorado for a little bit. Right, so when you look at it that way, they're like, okay, they're disrespecting them. But my question to you is, do you think the Jordan Travis injury had a factor to this? So I was listening, before you answer that, I was listening to Paul Feinbaum on First Take. And like he was saying that, like, yeah, I think that might have been a little bit of a factor because FSU did destroy the team they played. And UW has been scraping out wins. Now, the reason why they're in the top 4 is because Oregon lost to them. But Oregon has whooped whatever team UW has played against, right? So, do you think the Jordan Travis injury, I don't know how this all works again, has a factor into this?
Yeah. It's the starting quarterback, right? He's been on a kind of like I won't say Heisman pace, but like in the conversation a little bit. And the thing with your starting quarterback going out, no one's going to give you a chance. And we don't know how long is he out for? Do you know that?
I think it's done
for the year.
Yeah,
so it's gonna be tough to keep him in there, but at the end of the day, if you're still undefeated, right, that's the thing.
But here's the thing, they don't want a TCU situation. That's what I'm hearing. This is why Cincinnati barely made it all those years, and then when they finally did, and look what happened in the first round. TCU did make the final, but look what happened in the final, right? So they're trying to obviously avoid, they want the best teams in. Because there's a couple of questions I got to bring up.
So then, like, it's genuinely like...
It's weird.
there's so much gray area, right? Because like the records don't really matter at this rate, right? Like,
because if you look at
who is the best team on
competition wise,
paper?
UW should be up there instead of FSU because ACC is weak. Clemson ain't the same Clemson anymore.
That is true, but like, and honestly, like I'm fine with UW either. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But like if Michigan and Ohio State, one's gonna lose, right?
But
when you're looking at it record wise, if Florida wins, Florida State, I mean, technically everyone would assume, who's a casual like us, would assume that Florida State should be in the top 4.
So here's the thing, right? Like I agree that like FSU should deserve a chance no matter the quarterback, but I know they're not going to put them in because the quarterback ain't there, and they want to like that's just why they're probably going 12. I think 12 seeds
12 team, yeah.
Starting next year or the year after. But like, let's just say Ohio State whoops Michigan or vice versa. One of them's got to fall out, right? Because here's the thing that comes now. Let's just say everybody wins. Okay, well, Ohio State, Michigan, one of them's going to lose, right? Let's just say one of them handily beats them. We'll see how that goes. So we know that there's going to be one loss on Ohio State or Michigan, all right? Let's say Washington wins out. Let's say Oregon wins out. Let's say Bama wins out. Because Bama's going to be in the picture now. Here's how. The championship games, Oregon's going to play Washington. Let's say Oregon wins. Who had the more impressive wins then? Because then they're 1-1. Oregon, like I said, whooped the teams that UW was kind of playing. So there's a debate there now, right? What if Bama beats Georgia in the championship game?
The list is going to be fucked.
Right?
The list is fucked.
then there's a debate of having Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and Bama in. Because
there's genuine debate, right? And obviously, and on top of that, if Florida State goes undefeated, as well. But
then, like that was the conversation they were having. They're like, if we're talking about the 4 best teams, and let's say Bama wins, that's the game. Because there's like, if Georgia most likely not, Georgia as a 1 seed, I don't think they're gonna fall out of the 4, even if they lose to Bama.
Yeah, because that will be like their only loss of the year.
Yeah, but then it's always one of Ohio State and Michigan are gonna lose. Now this is assuming this is the rest of the schedule to win except for this particular game. Because then you have a conversation of Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, Washington, Oregon, Florida State, Texas, and Bama.
This is giving me a headache, right? Like,
but because you're picking 4 out of these teams, and obviously logically in our head we know the 4 best teams are the teams I mentioned last:
Georgia, Alabama,
Ohio State, and Michigan. But I want to see Oregon in or UW. One of those two has, in my opinion, needs to be in. Because the Pac-12 was a pretty good division this year.
It was very good.
This is the first time ever paying attention to the point where now it's all separated. It's all gone. UCLA was decent, right? They could provide some. They beat USC on the weekend, right?
Yeah.
Now USC probably wasn't fighting for anything, but there was that game, right? Arizona's been decent, I believe. They were in here.
They're all games, right? Like the Colorado story itself, right?
Clemson's in the top 25 as a 7-4 record, and Liberty were 11-0 or 25th.
It's strength of schedule, bro. Like the divisional, it's all like, plays an effect to it, and it causes so much gray area that I'm so happy that they are doing a 12 team, whereas like an undefeated team still might not have a chance of making.
The thing is, like, that 12 seed will get their ass kicked by like the 5th seed or however that's gonna work too.
Hey man, more playoff games the better. That we've been saying for every sport, right? Like, especially MLB, if you like cut your season down and put more playoff games in.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a genuine debate. Like I'm thinking you especially should start tuning into now not just the games, because I know you've watched some games, but like the breakdowns after, like on ESPN or whatever, because they'll explain it better. Feinbaum's a great. Yeah. I know he's a SEC guy.
I know Feinbaum is the big guy,
name, but now it's time to tune into college football because it is that time of year.
It's gonna be December playoffs, and then we'll see in January where it ends off. Just 1 month left, basically.
Yeah. All right. Let's get right into the MLB. Obviously, the Canucks game's on right now, and they're down 2-1 in the first period.
Wait, what?
What?
They're down 2-1.
Yeah.
They were just up 1-0 when I just checked.
Oh, yeah, no, Höglander. Yeah, the goals are within like 2 minutes. 3 goals in 2 minutes.
Oh my God, man.
Höglander, then Nichushkin, and then Drouin. Okay, we'll talk about this when we talk about the NHL, though. Live reaction on our phones, though. MLB Hall of Fame announcements have been made. Let me just pull that up. I'm gonna let you go to the MLB transactions.
Yeah.
Except for the Eugenio Suarez trade, which we'll get into. I know a little bit about that.
Eugenio Suarez.
Yeah. NHL. I forgot to add the thing there, but so these are the names that are added right now. Adrian Beltre and Joe Mauer headline first. The star group of first-time baseball candidates. Also making their first-time appearances, Bartolo Colon. You know how nostalgic it is that I'm reading all these names now?
Bartolo Colon,
Jose Bautista, Adrian Gonzalez.
Yeah, Adrian Gonzalez.
Matt Holiday, Victor Martinez, Brandon Phillips. I remember that name. Jose Reyes. You still have his shirt.
Yeah.
I saw it in your closet the other day.
It's still in there.
James Shields. I don't know why he's on this list, but he's on here. Chase Utley.
And
David Wright.
Yeah, David Wright. I remember David Wright.
So those are the first time names. Out of this, realistically, I think Beltre should be first ballot, if any chance. Because how Baseball Hall of Fame works is 75%. You have to get the vote to get in. Which I don't know if that's great or not, because in their years, that like obviously Larry Walker took 10 years to get in.
Nobody gets in.
Bonds is not in because of the drug stuff. Clemens is not in because of the drug usage or whatever. Because of that, the players that are returning are Todd Helton, Billy Wagner, Andrew Jones, Gary Sheffield, who is a Yankee. One of the reasons why he's not getting in is because of that. Carlos Beltran, I don't know how much of the Astros thing is going to take a part of this now. Alex Rodriguez, obviously same thing. Manny Ramirez, Omar Vizquel, Andy Pettit, Bobby Abreu, Jimmy Rollins, Mark Burley, Francisco Rodriguez, and Torrey Hunter. So Sheffield is in his 10th eligibility. And the Hall of Fame class will be announced on January 23, so they're still like 2 months away. And like I said, 75% need to be elected, and those who earn less than 5% are dropped from future ballots. Writers elected one player, which was Scott Rowland last year, and Todd Helton was close at 72.2. So logically, I think Todd Helton might get in this year.
Yeah.
Do you remember watching some of these guys play though? Because I know you caught into
some of them, yeah, but like.
So what about Adrian Beltre in your opinion?
I think he should be in.
Like first ballot or like based on this list?
First.
Like I think A-Rod should be in logically based on player.
If A-Rod's in, bro, it's gonna be.
Because because David Ortiz apparently had used PEDs early.
Everyone did, man. At this rate, like genuinely.
So the Bonds should be in your opinion?
Huh? Like if A-Rod gets in, bro,
Bonds is slapping the
Bonds is gonna freaking should rip into the MLB or the Baseball Hall of Fame stuff. But at the end of the day, I think Adrian. I don't think he's first ballot. I don't think he's gonna get.
But he might get the votes.
But he might get it
because he has the stats. He's one of the best third basemen of all his time. Collected 30,166 hits. Played 21 years with 4 teams.
So
then Joe Mauer is the other name. Do you remember Joe Mauer?
I remember Joe Mauer.
So he earned the 09. He was the 09 MVP for the AL and was the rare backstop to hit 2,000 career hits.
Yeah. So when I'm looking as a baseball fan, obviously they should be first ballot. But when I'm looking at their perspective, easy to tell for NBA. When I'm looking at their perspective, I'm like,
I don't know what the criteria is.
Who knows what the
like in NHL is the same thing, but then we don't know why McGillney's not in yet, right? So,
exactly.
Okay, so Jose Bautista, is he a Hall of Famer? I don't think so.
No.
Not being biased, I don't think he is.
Hall of Famer.
He could get in maybe late, but like, what did he do realistically? 2 playoff appearances with the Jays. He's more memorable for the bat flip and then the fight with Rolf Nitterdor, to be honest. He was a great hitter.
Okay, to be fair.
He didn't win MVP. He got robbed off one.
He'll get in late. He's gonna get in late.
If he does.
Yeah.
He does.
It's gonna take him like 7 years.
Minimum.
But yeah.
Bartolo Colon. I just want to see Bartolo Colon get in. I don't think he will either.
Yeah.
Or it'll take a while for these guys.
I think that guy was a better home run hitter than he was a pitcher. I'm just kidding. Obviously.
Matt Holliday is a good underrated player in my opinion.
That's true. A World Series champ as well. So
Jose Reyes is also a question mark. But yeah, I think all these names that are making outside of Joe Mauer and Adrian Beltre will be considered late. I don't think James Shields get in. I don't know why he's on this list.
I don't know who that is.
Tampa Bay pitcher.
I still don't know who that is.
This is so nostalgic for me because this is what I grew up on watching.
Yeah, but I'm gonna move on to MLB transactions here, and there's a couple of decent ones that happened.
So let's start off the big one from today.
Yeah, so
at the time of this recording,
November 20 and onwards. The big one today is Arizona Diamondbacks found their third baseman for the foreseeable future. Eugenio Suarez.
That's how you say it?
I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. Eugenio Suarez.
Linked to the Jays for a little bit.
Linked to the Jays, but ultimately got traded from the Mariners to the Arizona Diamondbacks and really was a great power hitter in these last few years as well. Main reason why, obviously, Julio Rodriguez and him, and as well as Kyle Rowley, big home run guys for the Mariners, which kind of, give them a little comeback, a little hope for the season that they will make the playoffs after a terrible beginning.
Yeah.
But Eugenio Suarez will definitely solve the third base problems for the Diamondbacks for now. Obviously, Longoria is like 45,000 years old. And then Emmanuel Rivera, I don't think it will be enough to be your everyday third baseman.
So, So obviously they're not gonna go. Clearly they're not going after like Matt Chapman or who was the guy from Nationals?
Heimer Candelario.
Yeah. So now Mariners got questions. Are they gonna sign one of those two guys? Oh, I won't be surprised. Obviously.
Yeah.
Matt Chapman goes on that team. That J.P. Crawford, Matt Chapman defense will be pretty good.
It'll be good. Yeah.
That being said, though,
love the move by Arizona. By the way.
yeah, like they're obviously
they should really pounce on this opportunity. Add a starting pitcher as well, and potentially just more bats. You know, a little bit more depth.
Yeah.
Because why not? Like you made the World Series, and it's not going to be an easy path because the Dodgers are going to be a little bit healthier. Padres, potentially at Shohei. Padres
should be better.
Should be a blip.
Padres,
right?
we'll get to it in a second.
And then the Giants are still like somewhat in the conversation, and the Rockies
suck.
Still the Rockies.
but there's one. Because you're the baseball guy, you gotta know the names more. But I think it was like Reynaldo Lopez.
Reynaldo Lopez is a Brave, 3-year contract. He was decent last year for the White Sox, and obviously fell apart. Well, everything fell apart when you go to the Angels, I guess. But he's a good ad. He's a good bullpen. Yeah, and White Sox. But he played well in the White Sox still. That's why he got traded. But still a decent ad for the Braves.
Oh, was he part of that trade?
He was part of the Giolito trade.
Okay.
It was him and Giolito going to the Angels. And solid signing for the Braves in my opinion. He'll definitely bullpen guy. You could always use it, and he has been pretty decent these last few years. Another one I see here is Kyle Gibson, the Orioles starter, is now a Cardinal. 1-year contract, $12 million.
Yeah.
Obviously, Cardinals would love to get some starting pitching back because they traded away Jordan Montgomery, Jack Flaherty, and they had a terrible year last year. So he's on a 1-year deal, so we'll see what happens there. White Sox signed our boy, apparently, Paul DeJong.
Actually?
Yeah.
Our boy for what, like 10
For
days
10
or whatever
days.
it was?
And I think those are the big ones I see. Last one, Cardinals add another starting pitcher, Lance Lynn, which
oh yeah, I saw that one.
honestly, he has fallen off, and
Cardinals are trying to come back to contention, right?
So they got to add starting pitching.
I hope it's a blip.
Yeah, and they definitely got to add better ones than what they added so far. But Kyle Gibson is a good 3 or 4 guy for you in the rotation.
Yeah, okay. That being said, the last move was Padres got their guy. What's his name? Sorry, I was pulling up the MMA stuff right now. Mike Schilt. And Padres hired Mike Schilt.
Is their bench boss?
As their manager. Hired former St. Louis Cardinals skipper. Received a 2-year contract. Replaces Bob Melvin, who left now for the San Francisco Giants. Nothing much to say. He's 55 years old. He beat out candidates like Ryan Flaherty, Phil Nevin, and Benji Gill for the managerial role, according to the Athletics' Britt Giroli.
Right, so congrats to him. Hopefully the Padres bounce back, and we'll see probably another tough division that year. What is that called? NL West?
Yeah.
NL West, so could be the best division in baseball after the East, AL East, because that is the best division in baseball.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens from there on out, and see
Huge.
if they bounce back.
All right, get some quick fire going here. First off, huge news out of the MMA world. I guess combat world in general. We don't watch much about this outside of the UFC and obviously boxing, but PFL, Professional Fighter League, which kind of came into the forefront now, especially after Jake Paul took some ownership of it and getting probably the biggest free agent in Francis Ngannou. Officially acquired Bellator, which was second to MMA or UFC, which was MMA organization. I think that's where Michael Chandler came from.
Yeah.
That's one of the big names. I think Chris Cyborg went from UFC to Bellator, now obviously PFL. And it's obviously trying to provide competition for Dana White and the UFC. We'll see how it goes, right? UFC still king. No one really left the UFC for anything outside of like Nate Diaz boxing and then Francis Ngannou. Is this going to be the step to do something? Obviously, Dana White's kind of stubborn in his ways. Like he doesn't want to do like a crossover thing, which is stupid in my opinion, because I think it will make money both ways. Maybe he just doesn't want to deal with it. Dana White, obviously, I disagree with heavily, and you do too, with the slap thing that he's trying to promote. Yeah. First of all, I don't know where he made up those numbers from. About
like slap fighting is better than NBA, MLB, NHL, NFL, UFC all combined
times 4.
Slap slap fight has more viewers.
Like he said it. I think it was the Theo Vaughn podcast he was on. But yeah, the terms of the deal were not disclosed yet. The Paramount, the former parent company Bellator, holds a minority stake, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see how much of a competition this will provide. Half of Bellator's roster will compete under the PFL season format, and the other half will compete in the new Champion Series, according to TSN's Aaron Bronstetter. Additionally, the PFL plans to hold a mega event in 2024, which is PFL champs versus Bellator champs, like kind of like WWE Raw versus SmackDown.
It feels like WWE,
like the OG Raw versus
Survivor
SmackDown.
Series,
yeah,
bragging rights.
But yeah, we'll see if it's actually a global powerhouse, which is what he was saying, Davis, the chairman. So it's big news.
Big
definitely
news.
caught our eye now because we're getting into the MMA world a little bit, but we're still kind of UFC heavy right now because we don't even watch fight nights really unless it's something massive. But yeah, so that's the MMA news for the day. I don't think there's any boxing fights this month. December, get ready for a huge boxing / UFC card.
Boxing night, yeah. But moving on, NBA in-season tournament.
So let me just provide the updates on that.
Starting off with the Indiana Pacers,
Who have officially, two teams have officially clinched, which is the Indiana Pacers and the Los Angeles Lakers. They're both, Lakers went 4-0, and Indy are 3-0, but I think they're through no matter what.
They're already through.
Yeah, so they're through no matter what happens. Now the question is, Philly, who's in the Indy group, has to go through a wild card. And the wild card is, so there's 3 group winners there's 3 groups from each conference, so 6 total, and the group winner goes through no matter what.
So that's
and
6.
The 4th team will be 1 wild card team from each. So that being said, that means Cleveland, Philly.
Wait, what? There's 6 teams. I mean,
no, there's technically
there's
12 teams.
There's 6 group winners.
12 teams could be considered wild card, and the top will go through. And obviously, we know that it's essentially the second place team.
So is it like straight into quarterfinals, or is it a round of 16?
Quarterfinals.
So it's quarterfinals.
Because it's 3-3, so that's 6, 2, 8. Yeah, quarterfinals.
So there's 2 wildcard teams.
So what happens is the Lakers and the Pacers will host.
So you have one in the East, one in the West, wildcard. Basically.
Yeah. And then the top seed will host the home game.
Yeah,
and then Vegas gets semis and the finals.
Yeah.
So right now, so Indy's through. So Cleveland and Philly are essentially fighting for that second. They're fighting for their own second seed, but the top wildcard spot. Milwaukee and Miami are tied 2-0 right now. So chances are one of those two look like will be fighting for a wildcard spot. I think Boston's gonna be through. So Brooklyn and Orlando, who beat your Raptors,
we're done.
I know they're done, but Brooklyn and Orlando are fighting for a wildcard spot. So if I were to predict, I think it's gonna be Philly. Depending on if Milwaukee finishes second.
Philly, Milwaukee group winner, Indy group winner, and Boston group winner.
And yeah, so that's the 4. Other side, Lakers. So it's the Suns are most likely. Well, depending on how the Jazz do, are fighting for, because this is where point differential matters.
So Suns are in the Lakers one.
Yeah. So Lakers are undefeated. They're 4-0.
So Lakers and then Suns, and then what are the other 2 groups?
Pelicans and Nuggets. Pelicans is first on point differential right now.
Nuggets.
There should be the Nuggets, but Dallas is done, I think. The Clippers are both 1 and 2. That's a tough division.
That is a very tough division.
Because the way Rockets are playing? Yeah, that was
that's
tough.
True.
The Group C is Kings are tied with the Timberwolves at 2-0. This one's up in the air, and the Warriors are 1-1. I think the Spurs are out, and then I think OKC's out with 1-2.
Yeah.
Right? So this coming to a close.
You got to be 3-1.
So if I were to predict, I think it's going to be the Suns, Nuggets. Timberwolves are killing it.
What's the Nuggets and Pelicans records? They're both 2-0.
2-1. And
they're both 2-1?
Yeah.
For top.
Yeah.
So
Pelicans have a 4-point edge right now.
So I think
Like
Pelicans might
edge.
sneak in ahead of the Suns.
Yeah, it depends on who they have to play each other is the question. I don't know if Jamal's back yet. Do you know if Jamal Murray's back?
Not yet. They said I think it's going to take one or more week, I believe.
Yeah. So I think it's between those two. So if the Nuggets win it, then I'm going to say the Suns will get the wild card spot there. You would hope, but yeah, so your thoughts on it so far again? I mean, obviously, Raptor fan, it sucks.
Right? It's like, I didn't hate it, right? It's not like more games for the players. So it's kind of mixed in pretty well. Obviously, apart from the final being the 83rd game for whoever makes
$500,000 per player. We talked about it with Blake Murphy, so make sure you guys check that out.
Yeah, so we're not going to get too
but
much
Michael
detail.
Grange, very quickly, the Raptors, the Michael Grange tweet, how much do you agree with
He's 100% right. Right? The teams that were behind us are now ahead of us, like Orlando and Detroit, because, they had a direction.
Well, Detroit sucks right now. Don't put Detroit in this conversation.
I will put Detroit in this conversation because next year they'll be ahead of us.
Next year, okay, but I'm talking about this year.
Yeah, but Orlando's already taking the step forward.
You meant to say Indiana, though.
Indiana took that step forward.
Yeah.
Kings took that step forward.
Rockets right now.
Rockets are taking that step forward. So the
OKC, the biggest one.
Raptors are still in their own way of like trying to contend when you don't have contenders on your team. So other than Barnes, you have no one genuinely that like is your future. And apart from your probably 3 starting lineup members in Barnes, Anunoby, and Siakam, you don't really have a good lineup. And then those 3 combined are still not as good enough as a guy who will lead them to a title.
I want to talk about Indy very quickly because we'll do a episode where NBA and NHL we pick like teams we want to talk about, kind of like how Through the Wire do with NBA. Indy though, do they remind you of last year's Kings? Even though
number 1 offense,
because a straight offense, no defense type of thing.
Rick Carlisle.
It's fun to watch because I was watching the Raptors game earlier.
Very fun to watch, and number 1 offense in like points, I believe. Number 3 in 3-pointers. So Halliburton's like on an assist machine. I think he like
best thing to happen to him.
Yeah, because he got to flourish himself, right? Like otherwise in Kings, like the thing with the Kings is like he will still be under Fox's shadow.
But he would be like the combo guard with him.
It would be a combo guard. And obviously, I personally, like, it's such a win-win trade because the Kings really want to take the jump now, and Sabonis is, like, a part. Like,
yeah, but that team is still a move away, though.
They're still a move away.
They're a player away.
But even with Halliburton, they're still going to be a big away. So you could look at it both sides there. But Sabonis being, like, what? Probably the 3rd best big in the league.
Yeah, he's like top 5 for sure.
He's top 5 in there for sure. And then Cat's freaking out of there.
It's AD, Joel Embiid, not in that order. Jokic, Sabonis. Yeah, I think those are like on the top of my head. Like you could throw in a guy like Bam. Bam's killing it this year.
You could throw Bam as well.
Bam's killing it this year, bro. But yeah, that's the NBA tourney. We'll talk more NBA again next week. We'll probably do our month-end season ranking so far, power ranking.
Yeah.
Definitely will be different from our beginning of the season.
100%
but
different.
The teams are kind of falling into their place, but OKC and Indy are the teams to watch out for there. NHL. Before we get into any NHL, obviously today's the game. Wednesday they played everybody except two sets of games are not playing.
So like Monday you had like freaking 16 or 14, then you had 0.
Then you have 16 again, or 14 again.
Another 14.
Now you have 0.
And then you have 0.
And then you're gonna have like 15.
Yeah.
But very quickly, some news on international. A question we asked Greg Wyshynski. World Cup of Hockey, which is probably not going to be called World Cup of Hockey. So this is according to a good friend now, a friend of the show. I finally get to say that properly.
Alex Adams?
No, well.
Oh, no.
Greg Wyshynski.
Oh, it was Greg Wyshynski?
Yeah.
Oh, Alex Adams, that would be Sands.
Huh?
Alex Adams Sands. But shout out Alex Adams for Canada.
Yeah.
Jamaica.
Which we'll talk into a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, friend of the show now, Greg Wyshynski, probably getting him on again. Current plan for the 2025 World Cup of Hockey, which will not be called the World Cup of Hockey. What a way to start the tweet, Greg. 4 national teams only. US, Canada, Sweden, Finland. 0 Russians, for obvious reasons, with the whole Russia-Ukraine factor. Chance US and Canada will play 3 times. Next proper World Cup might not be until 2028, assuming Russia figure their shit out over there.
So it's not a proper World Cup.
Which means this guy right here, Alexander Ovechkin, will not be involved. And the thing they also do this is because IIHF is not involved, so they can't even do for example, Leon Draisaitl's missing out. Anze Kopitar's going to be missing out.
It's not a proper World Cup.
David Pasternak's missing out. Because they want to have NHL players only. So which means like a team like Germany, it's only Stützle and Draisaitl. So they have to do insurance or something for players in the KHL or that are playing overseas in general.
Yeah. But it's not a World Cup.
Would you just rather have like a US Canada Summit series, like 4 out of 7 series, kind of like how the women are kind of doing it?
I'd rather just have the players rest at this rate.
I want to see this. No, hell no. I want to see this at least.
Bro,
I'm happy for it. So you're one of those haters that hated this.
It's what, 4 teams? I'm not seeing.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I want to see the teams play.
I just want to see US and Canada at their peak playing. That's all I care about.
Yeah, no, but like in a proper tournament.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Why screw the tournament?
With something that matters.
US and Canada play.
That doesn't really matter. Like there's nothing on the line.
Yeah, pride.
Huh?
Pride.
Okay, yeah, but like when you're in the Olympics, when you're in the World Cup of Hockey, you're gonna win something.
So you're definitely in the opposite end of Wyshynski on this, because I'm at the stage where I need to see McDavid play for a Canada jersey with Crosby, and 2028 is gonna be way too late for that. Would you agree with that?
That's fair.
That's my point here.
But
I would rather see McDavid versus Matthews, US versus Canada. The Hughes brothers playing together against Makar. Right? There's a debate between Quinn Hughes and Makar again. I want to see it ASAP. I don't care if it's like I mainly want to see them play USA. That's all I care about.
So you just want to see, even if it's a friendly, you're like, just screw it.
No, obviously
Because it
it's
feels-
still meant. Pride is on the line.
It feels like
I'm sure there's prize money on the line.
It feels like
It's kind of like the in-season tourney in a way.
the fact that you have like 4 teams and it just feels like a friendly tournament.
No, I get that
Like-
point. I'm not
like our
disagreeing with
local
that.
Punjabi
But you
tournaments.
you get the point.
It's like our local
But
Punjabi
do you-
soccer
when
tournaments
was
in the
last-
summer.
Okay,
That's fair. That's what it
sure.
is.
But when was the last time we saw this?
It's been a
Best
while.
on best international.
It's been a while.
2014 Olympics.
Yeah.
Right? We're hoping that the 2026 Olympics that's the case. But at this point, like many other people, I'm starving to see at least Canada versus US because that's the biggest debate right now. I agree with you that Russia not being in it sucks, but
Even my mic disagrees with you.
okay, no, there's no. You definitely are on the minority here because you tell me you don't want to see.
Here, let me finish off here. Yes, I do want to see it, right?
They're
But
not calling it a World Cup
I don't
of
like.
hockey.
I don't like the way they're showing it, right?
But they're not calling the World Cup of hockey though.
Okay, good.
That's what they're.
Because they're not.
Literally, his tweet says we're not calling it the World Cup of hockey.
Like I do want to see it, but I just want to see it like I did in the Olympics, like a proper full-on
The
tournament.
problem is the NHL ain't gonna pay for like Germany to come in
That's the thing. That's the issue.
and
with
blame Russia for doing Russia things.
Yeah, because it's half-assed. That's what I'm trying to say here.
No,
right?
I
it's
agree
not a
with
it's
that.
not a full-blown effort.
And
Which
I'm not
kind of-
disagreeing with you there.
which kind of
but
like-
you get my point though.
Is Canada really the best if they win?
That's a different
Because they didn't really go through that full grueling tournament.
And again, I agree with that. I just want to see Canada versus USA. That's my point here.
That's a
I'm
fair
not
point
disagreeing
too,
with
yeah.
your point here. I just want to see.
I'm not disagreeing with yours either.
Yeah, but I'm saying like I get your point, but I'm excited to see Canada versus USA. That's the main thing here, and that's why I was saying like do like a best 4 out of 7 Canada versus US, best 4 out of 7 between Sweden and Finland because those guys are more rivals, and then maybe down the next year they flip it or something for now until Russia figures their stuff out, and once Russia figures their stuff out, then we'll probably get Germany, Slovakia, like. You're telling me Slavkovsky and all those guys that Slovakians are good now, don't want to be part of this? I'm sure they all do. I'm for sure Draisaitl was probably choked. But at the same time, we're here to watch Canada USA. We could shit talk Greg Wyshynski if we ever bring him on or whenever we bring him on.
We can.
My point isn't that like the whole tournament side of things. My point is I just want to see best on best international hockey. And as a Canadian, I just want to see us to play the US.
Yeah, but then my point is like I just want to see us in that tournament aspect.
But you want to be pissed.
We
if
haven't
this
seen.
You want to be annoyed.
I'm not saying don't do it,
Yeah.
right? But
And
I'm annoyed of how it's happening. That's
Oh
why.
yeah, I agree. But you would still be sitting on your TV glued watching Canada versus USA.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
But yeah, let's move on to
Do you think? But
the NHL.
Bedard is lock in, right? A couple
Yes.
before, and
yes.
Now this is the big one. JT Miller.
Yes.
He has to be a lock now.
Yes.
Brock Besser.
Maybe
Probably.
not. But let's move on to the NHL because we've been probably like saying the same shit over and over again.
Yeah.
because
I'm excited for this though if it actually happens
Yeah,
in terms
but-
of like the actual international.
And again,
hockey.
you just repeated. But
I am gonna repeat this.
But-
But yeah.
NHL Canucks are playing Colorado right now. Obviously, during recording because we're trying to catch the end of the game, so we started a little bit earlier, and we value our sleep because we're very sleep deprived.
Yeah.
Other news NHL wise, Red Wings. I mean, no, I'm gonna start with the Oilers. Nothing has changed.
Yeah. 3 games of a little hope for the Oilers fans, and it went back down to earth.
Yeah, and then on top of that, Red Wings. I think they really do have Tampa Bay's number. I don't know if they're playing today too as well, right? Is that who they're playing right now?
Who?
Who did the Red Wings play? No.
Devils. They're destroying the Devils.
Yeah.
That's the team I was gonna bring up.
Yeah, so I'm trying to say the Red Wings have like those teams that like contenders numbers, like because they beat Lightning before, now they beat the Devils,
Jets.
and the Lightning's lost to the Jets as well. So,
A lot of good games.
but yeah, Devils. Let's talk about that. Oilers
They're
and
6th in the division right now.
Oilers and Devils. A lot of people's Stanley Cup final prediction, you could have said.
Yeah, I had
And-
the Devils winning it.
And now, is it going to be last year? You hope it's last year as well. But 6th in the division behind the Flyers.
Yeah, Flyers are 2nd. The Capitals are 3rd.
This is wild.
Like
right?
you wrote off. I wrote off the Flyers too, but you wrote off the Capitals
I
completely.
did too because of their age and
Yeah,
yeah.
Carolina's 4th as well. So it's like the Rangers are killing it though.
Rangers are
Like
killing
they've
it.
surprised me a little bit, just because I thought I had them 4th, but
That doesn't surprise me.
it's because like a lot of people use American Thanksgiving as the benchmark, and this is why when Canucks were bad the last 2 years, they're like, oh, they're already out, and it was true. And now they're saying that about the Oilers. Right now, you don't want to be that case for the Devils. But the good news is they're only 5 points off third.
Devils are fine. Oilers are done. At the same time,
Minnesota's also done. And
then Minnesota.
But no, actually,
Minnesota has a chance.
Wild card wise, yeah.
Wild card wise,
because like they're like 10 points behind third in Winnipeg.
Yeah, I think that's still a chance there. How many points are Oilers off the wild card?
Wild card wise, right now the wild card goes to St. Louis is at 19, which is a surprise, and the Kraken, for how bad they've started, are at 19.
And what's that Oilers?
11. So they're 7 out.
They gotta figure it out.
No, but here's the thing: Calgary's balling now.
Calgary is pucking.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good word to say. But that's why I said balling. But like, do we believe Anaheim at 18 points? They're 1 point out. Do we believe Arizona is 1 point out? Arizona I could kind of see squeak in. Calgary is like, okay, I finally think they're kind of figuring stuff out, but we don't know.
There's still a lot in between
because they could still sell at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right? Nashville is Minnesota okay. Edmonton. And then Chicago sucks, and then San Jose sucks.
I mean, Edmonton, like, honestly, you're going to be happy because we gifted a number 1 overall pick and we gifted Macklin Celebrini.
Which is
like how you were
slap
gifted
in the
McDavid.
face to us from Vancouver.
Like, you've been gifted like 40,000 first round picks, in my opinion. And I really hope.
I still think the Oilers will make it. That's just me. Barely making the wild card. But if they're playing like this, then who knows, right?
Who knows? They generally might be the number 1 overall pick.
Any more surprises for you?
Me, obviously, the biggest one for me is the Flyers. Like, how the hell are they doing this? How the hell is Tortorella, making these guys buy in that the fact that they're second place in their conference division where they have the Devils, the Rangers, and the Hurricanes.
2 things before I want to close off. The Bruins only have 1 regulation loss.
That's
and 3 overtime losses. The Avalanche, all their losses are like massive losses.
Their wins were massive wins as well.
Their losses were 2 goals in the last 30 seconds against the Nashville Predators in regulation to lose. They lost 8-2 to the Blues. They then lost 4-3 to the Kraken, 7-0 to the Golden Knights, 4-0 to the Sabres, 4-0 to the Penguins. But yes, on the flip side, you're right. They're killing it on the other end. Cale Makar, who's their best player? Cale Makar or Nathan McKinnon? Because Cale Makar is leading in points.
It's probably Cale Makar right now.
And then Quinn Hughes and Elias Pettersson. It's like a similar type of debate.
It's a similar debate right now. But overall, looking at Hart Trophy wise, obviously Quinn Hughes is in the conversation. PD's in the conversation. But you got to give the respect to Kucherov and Pasternak here as well, because they have been killing
more
it.
Pasternak.
Obviously Kucherov as well, just because it's genuinely him and Point and Stamkos.
Yeah.
Right? They genuinely have to be on top of their game.
All right, let's move off of this. We'll come back to it on Monday's pod. But let's finish off with some soccer. First off, I'm wearing a Man United jersey, which means club soccer's back, which means this is probably the only time I get to wear this jersey during the pod.
Because they suck.
But good news is Luke Shaw is training, and I think Lisandro Martinez is there, but I don't know if he's training.
But club soccer is back. But the
biggest game
is Man City and Liverpool.
Yeah.
Obviously, quick prediction if you want to give one right now. I'm still going to give the edge to City just because
let me pull up the game.
You give me no reason not to. But at the same time, Liverpool has been balling out as well.
They play 4:30 in the morning, so I ain't getting up. So,
okay, why would they do that?
I don't know. Prime time for them, I guess, in England. Arsenal Brentford is a 9:30 game there. And we play Everton. And Everton is coming up with a 10-point deduction, so which means, of course, United are going to lose that game.
100%.
Tottenham Villa, though. That's an underrated game of the week.
That is definitely an underrated game as well. Euro qualifiers and Copa qualifiers, which we'll leave one qualifier near the end to talk about. But Euro qualifiers is shaping up, obviously, all the big teams are getting in.
Yeah, I have the thing here. Which teams have qualified automatically? So Spain, Scotland, France, Netherlands, England, Italy, Turkey, Croatia, Albania are first in their group. I don't know if that means they're fully in yet. But Czechia, Belgium, Austria, Hungary, Serbia, Denmark, Slovenia, Romania, Switzerland, Portugal, and Slovakia. Now, what I didn't say? Oh, I did say it. Okay, I was going to say Italy.
They're in, bro. All the big teams are in. It's Euros. Like we mentioned last time, Euro qualifiers.
So the paths
are kind of pointless.
So those are in. The playoff paths, seeding, and semifinal matchups are as follows: Poland versus Estonia, and then it's Wales versus either Finland, Ukraine, or Iceland. Whoever finishes there. Path B is Israel. We're playing.
Israel's in
versus Ukraine, or Iceland. I guess depending on how the seeds finish.
Why is Israel allowed to play?
I don't know. Bosnia and Herzegovina versus Finland or Ukraine, again, depending on how seeding's finished. Patsy, Georgia, not the state, but Georgia versus Luxembourg. Greece versus Kazakhstan. There's some names in here I'm like, I've never heard of, like, really be that good at soccer. For example, Israel, Estonia, Albania, who qualified instantly.
Euro qualifiers, baby.
Who missed the tournament? We said it last time. Norway.
They suck. They generally suck. But
other notable sides to miss out: Ireland and Sweden.
Copa qualifiers, Jamaica is in, right?
Well, obviously.
Because
we'll get to that in a second.
USA's in, Mexico's in.
Yeah, let me just pull that up because it's actually right here. Oh, by the way, Mets are hiring John Gibbons. I forgot to mention that during MLB.
Yeah, okay.
Nations League. So that's how this works. Is Copa America, I think, is all the South American teams, if I'm not mistaken, and now they've extended it to North American. So the CONCACAF, but the CONCACAF guys, I think, have to qualify. And so it was the quarterfinals of the Nations League. If you win that, and if you're in the semis, those teams automatically qualify for Copa, and then there's a last chance effort. Those teams are the USA, even though they lost to Trinidad and Tobago the second game, where Serginho Dest went ballistic, or however you say that word.
Ballistic.
Mexico came back and beat Uruguay. Sorry, Honduras. But Mexico, kind of controversial. Apparently, they scored on the 11th minute of the 10-minute energy mark time.
Of course.
And then they went to PKs. So, and then because they lost the first game, the other one is Jamaica beating Canada, which we'll get into in a second because we're pissed. And the last one is Panama. I think beating Costa Rica. Yeah. So
Canada will face Trinidad and Tobago
in a last chance match. And the reason why we got to this point, we were happy when we were we recorded before the thing with Peter Galindo, but they went to Jamaica, finally won after 35 or whatever years.
2-1 victory
in Jamaica. After not playing their scheduled game because of the rain.
Away goals do matter in this. So 2 away goals, we're happy with that, right? And then coming back, we're like, okay, keep a clean sheet, you win.
Watch the first half, and Andre Blake decided to be like, I don't know,
World Cup Ochoa.
Yeah,
World Cup Ochoa.
So thankfully it was 1-0, and we'll get to Davies in a second. He's the one who scored. Second half, we missed it because we had our volleyball final, which, by the way, we lost in the final. Sad. And also our soccer one, which is why we moved the trophy away, because we lost that too. Also sad.
It's not been a good week.
It's not been a good week. And then we get to the car and we see Canada crash out of the Nations League. And we've been obviously talking about Canada soccer and their problems, how we're not going to get camps, and how are you going to face tough competitions, even though we're probably not going to get the camps for Copa America, even if we qualify, but at least we play the top teams. I don't know, Mauro Biello, obviously not doing well right now, but then they don't even have a budget to get a proper coach in. But yeah, and then what ended up happening was Jamaica came back, went 2-1 up, and then Kone tied it to make it 2-2. I think there was a bullshit penalty. I was just too mad to even watch the highlights. And then late winner, I guess, by Jamaica to win on away goals because of the final score was 4-4?
4-4, yeah.
Yeah, so Jamaica 3 away goals, and that's how they go through. A lot of talk going on. Who is the problem on? This is obviously on the players because Canada soccer, we know the situation.
We already know the situation.
Mauro Biello ain't doing a great job.
We're gonna talk about the game.
Davies, I guess the problem people are saying is like we've noticed it too. A lot of people are complaining about is how he holds the ball, tries to play hero ball a little too much. David hasn't really shown up for Canada much. Leonard has, but yeah, in the back line, they started playing casual. I heard a pissed off Mike Halford, which is kind of rare to see because when it's soccer and Mike Halford's pissed off from the Halford and Bruff show, you know it's bad. And listening to him, because he actually watched the game, was just like, yeah, they were casual. When you play FIFA and you're wasting time and you do the kick-ups, the juggling, essentially, that's what Boriano's trying to do. And after that moment is when they choked, essentially. And it's a 1-0 game. Keep in mind.
What do you expect's going to happen, right? Like, when you think you won the game, you're going to lose.
It
happens every single time.
Jamaica's talent is there and their back was
it is there,
wall.
Right?
But this is without Mikel Antonio.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Even with Mikel Antonio injured, you still have Leon Bailey. You still have Damari Gray.
Their goalie is decent.
You still have Andre Blake. Honestly, he's been kicking your ass ever since he started playing for Jamaica, which is for a long time now. And you can't score enough, right? You can't. Your defending isn't the best, right? You don't have the best defenders, bro. Your goalie's old, right? stop acting like you've done something, right? All you did was qualify for the World Cup once, and you act like you're a freaking good team.
Now your manager's gone. You bring in a guy from PSN to follow up as well. Yeah, like now it's like we're all happy that Canada soccer's on the map again. Like obviously, what Christine Sinclair did was great. She carried it still. You guys made one World Cup, right? Christine Sinclair went to the Olympics, went to the World Cup, went to the Olympics, went to the World Cup. At least got to the knockout stages except for the last World Cup, and obviously medaled and eventually won gold in all the Olympics that she was after 2012 onwards. You guys, ever since the World Cup, have been downhill. Now, yes, I get it. We know the behind the scenes, but disappointing performance against the USA in the Nations League final where the A team played. Gold Cup, I'm not going to talk about it because that's a different story. This one, now, you have a chance to play Argentina, Brazil. Again, we're not going to go too much into it.
You could create your own camp here. Like, there was an opportunity here, right? Like, if you players want to get better in the national stage, international stage, you have to play in the Copa America because you already know what's why are you trying to knock down a camera? No. But because you already know that freaking you have no budget to get barely paid and get camps, right? So as a player, you would want to create your own opportunity here because like it feels like I haven't seen that from them,
and
right?
then play the
like
top countries.
Like it's not like they have the desire to do anything themselves either to help fix the situation.
2026 is around the corner. It's gonna come quick. I know we're in 2023 and we're almost hitting 2024. Honestly, like literally in a month's time, a month and a couple of days time. But like you can't be like snap of a finger. 2023 just passed. 2024, like the World Cup was a year ago. Like essentially a year ago it started. The best moment of your guys' career. And you guys had an underwhelming performance after the Belgium game. And then after that has been downhill since. And yes, we know the behind the scenes is the problem. But this one, you guys had the lead. There was no excuse for it.
There's no excuse.
You can't blame the refs because there were questionable calls, but who cares?
You had the lead.
Yeah, so...
all you had to do is see it out. All you had to do is...
now you have a chance against Trinidad and Tobago. Concede. You got lucky. We're not playing a stronger team in Costa Rica, I believe. So... again, you can't take this lightly. I think this is a one-game knockout in Texas.
This is a one-game.
So it's a neutral site.
Yeah. But finishing off, right? Like, you're on the map. You're there. Don't fall off the map already.
Yeah.
Right? And
do what the woman did. This is why I'm saying the woman probably deserved more money than you in that case then.
In Canada, yeah.
In Canada, specifically.
Yeah, but, like, you haven't done anything. David, you haven't done anything. Davies, you haven't done anything. Right? Atiba Hutchison, honestly, I'll give you credit just because you stuck by it.
You were there
the whole time. You kind of helped though.
The only thing you guys have done, and credit to you guys, was actually qualify for the World Cup and finish top of the Ocho. That's the only thing.
That's the only accomplishment you have.
But the whole point isn't like when we say when players get drafted into whatever sports league or get signed, it's not that I got drafted. Can you stay? Can you
keep up?
That's the point. The woman proved it.
Can you be the best?
Now it's you guys to prove it.
Right?
And you guys are lucky you're hosting the next World Cup.
Can you hang with the USA and Mexico or continue qualifying for the World Cup?
I still think you guys are the second best team out after the US, obviously.
Yeah,
because Mexico's struggling.
The point is, can you hang with those teams that are continuously qualifying for the World Cup? And can you hang with the teams in the World Cup? Right? The thing with this is like, my question to the players is, and all of Canada soccer is, do you want that Ocho to be a highlight of your men's soccer? Because that's the only highlight you have.
Yeah.
And the way it's going, that's going to be the only highlight for a long, long time.
Figure out your coaching situation.
You got there. Like, what the hell is going on now? I don't know.
Yeah, figure out your coaching situation. That's the biggest thing. I don't think Bielo's the answer, clearly, as of right now. I don't know how much of it is he's pressured because this is his tryout and he's clearly not exceeding in it. Who's out there, we don't know. Obviously, when we listen to Northern Football,
have the budget. Anyone?
Northern Football podcast, there might be CPL coaches that could be good enough to do this. But yeah, that being said, though, first of all, shout out to our guy Alex Adams, friend of the show. Now you could say
friend of the show.
Got the gig at Canada Soccer as well, along with the Sens at Canada Basketball. So shout out to you. Keep killing it, and hopefully we get you on sooner than later. Because now we could talk 3 different sports with you now.
Yeah.
as well. But we'll leave it there.
Yeah, that wraps up today's pod.
So make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Follow all our socials. Check out the guest videos we dropped and the tier list. Check out this upcoming week, the MLB season ending tier list. And yeah, and other than that, we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.